in the heart of Lincoln High. 16-year-old Jamal sat in the back of the music room, quiet, invisible, until today. Miss Whitmore, the music teacher, hated Jamal. She'd mock him in front of class, saying, "Go on, play something if you even know how." The whole class laughed, certain he'd fail, certain he didn't belong. But Jamal had a secret. Fingers trained by nights alone, melodies born from struggle. He closed his eyes and began to play. Slow, haunting notes filled the room, swelling into a complex, breathtaking piece. Every note silenced the room. Every chord shattered their doubt. Miss Whitmore's smirk vanished. The boy she mocked had made her the quietest person in the room. Jamal bowed slightly, proud. Sometimes, those who seem invisible hold the power to stop the world in its tracks. Never underestimate someone's fire. Weeks passed, and Jamal's talent couldn't be ignored. Word spread beyond the school, whispers reaching the principal's office. Miss Whitmore, once smug, now avoided his gaze, her power slipping. The school announced a talent showcase, and Jamal was entered against her bitter protests. On stage, lights blinding, the auditorium silent. He began to play. The first notes were soft, almost hesitant, then exploded into a storm of mastery, weaving emotion and technical brilliance into every chord. Parents gasped, students stared. Even Miss Whitmore's face went pale, frozen in disbelief. When a final note rang out, the applause thundered, a standing ovation shaking the room. Jamal smiled, calm but unstoppable, knowing he'd turned ridicule into triumph. The boy who was once mocked to become the hero of the room, proving that talent, courage, and persistence can silence even the loudest doubt. Never let anyone define your limits. Your fire is yours to show. Months later, Jamal's name was everywhere. Local news featured him, college scouts called, and students who once laughed now looked at him with awe. Miss Whitmore was reassigned, quietly replaced, her cruel words echoing only in her own regret. At the school's end-of-year ceremony, Jamal was invited to perform one final piece. The auditorium was packed, anticipation buzzing in the air. He sat at the piano, closed his eyes, and played like never before, every note carrying the weight of all the ridicule, doubt, and struggle he had endured. Tears streamed down faces, whispers turned to cheers, and when the final chord hit, the applause wasn't just for his music. It was for his resilience, his unshakable spirit. Jamal stood, looking at the crowd, and in that moment, he wasn't just a talented boy. He was a symbol. The underdog who was underestimated had rewritten the story, showing the world that courage, perseverance, and self-belief can topple even the tallest walls. No one can silence your light if you refuse to let them. Years later, Jamal returned to Lincoln High, not as a student, but as a mentor. The same halls where he was once mocked now echoed with his footsteps as he guided young musicians, teaching them that talent and determination could outshine ridicule. Students who had doubted him now sought his advice, and even teachers whispered about the boy who had changed the school's story forever. One afternoon, a shy freshman refused to play in front of class, scared of being laughed at. Jamal smiled, walked over, and said, "I know how it feels, but sometimes the world underestimates the quiet ones. Show them who you are." The boy nodded, trembling, and began to play. As the room fell silent, Jamal's eyes glistened. He remembered every laugh, every sneer, every moment he'd once felt invisible. And now, he was proof that courage multiplies, that the fire inside you can inspire others. The underdog had become a beacon, reminding everyone, those who rise despite doubt don't just win. They change the world around them. It was the city's annual music festival, and Jamal, now 22, was headlining. The same streets where he had been underestimated, mocked, and overlooked were packed with thousands eager to hear him play. As he sat at the grand piano, memories of Miss Whitmore's sneers, of classrooms filled with laughter at his expense, flashed through his mind. He took a deep breath. Fingers poised, and the first note soared, a note that carried not just music, but every struggle, every late night, every moment he had been told he wasn't enough. The crowd was spellbound. By the final crescendo, tears streamed from strangers' eyes, cheers shook the square, and for the first time, Jamal's journey had come full circle. The underdog, once ridiculed, had had become a force that could move hearts, inspire generations, and command respect without saying a word. He rose from the piano, letting the applause wash over him. And in that instant, the lesson was clear. No one can define your limits. No one can dim your fire. And those who underestimate you today may very well celebrate you tomorrow. Jamal had not just won. He had transformed his world. And in doing so, he became the proof that resilience, talent, and courage write their own justice. Hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories that matter. And let's keep the conversation going.